I know you can feel their discomfort, Aaron. Watching you walk through a room full of white people was the most painful thing I've ever seen.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I don't want to take you to a job interview. There's a recruiting class starting right now, and we got to get you in it.
Welcome to the American Society of Magical Negroes.
I don't really understand.
It's easier said.
All right, gentlemen, we are back and ready to have a real conversation. How do I want to do this? All right, let's give our initial impressions before I start bringing out outside opinions. Ugh. All right, so we 6 months ago or so, I brought a snippet. It was a teaser of the American Society of Magical Negroes. Eddie, how did you feel after I played that snippet?
I was not enthused. I did not like the concept or the sound of it, and I didn't want to see it.
All right, Mr. Panther, how did you feel about the snippet if you didn't close your eyes and close your ears as you normally like to do?
I did watch a little bit, and I was intrigued and excited until I saw the title. And then lost all of it.
I actually loved the title and then didn't like the teaser. So before we get into the highs and lows for each of us individually, I avoid the only thing I avoid when it comes down to films, I avoid other reviews until I see films so that I'm not going in with somebody's thoughts already in my brain. So I saw the film, I came home. And one of my favorite review channels is called Double Toasted. It's two older black men that sit around and talk about film and television. To give you some information, both of them are from Texas. They're not from, I don't want to be disrespectful. They're not from an urban Texas. They're more from like middle America, mostly white. Kind of grew up black people in a mostly white environment. So their perspective is a little bit more conservative. And they're both in their 50s. I think one might be in his early 60s. So I was actually excited to see their review because I was thinking we all gonna have a pro-black moment together. But this is how they felt.
People are coming down hard on this movie, and I guess that I am in the minority of those people because I am very impressed with this film right here. It's one thing to make a bad movie, but it's another to make two bad movies in one. And the two bad movies they have here, they're both terrible. You don't see a lot of movies trying to be twice as bad. A lot of white people got mad about this movie.
So I heard that and I was immediately like, wait, what? Like two different movies. All right. Well, maybe he's an expert, man. He's been doing this shit. When I say I'm a huge fan of these gentlemen, I am a huge fan. Been following him for way more than a decade. When I say I love these guys, I would take a bullet for these guys. But this shit that they saying irritated the fuck out of me.
Dare you talk to us like that, making us all look bad. See, this is what we're talking about. Y'all it's never certain white people. All white people are bad. Why you doing this movie, young man? Y'all
never once did they say that all white people were bad.
Y'all ain't got nothing to worry about with this movie right here. Y'all are going to be just fine. In fact, I would say that this movie is a magical Negro because it works to the advantage of white people out there. I've never seen a movie just fail so horribly at everything it was trying to achieve. People forget Harry Potter, man. That's what a lot of people wanted here. They were looking for a hog.
There was never a moment at any point in time that I actually compared this to Harry Potter or wanted this to be Harry Potter. I don't understand who the fuck watched that trailer or even saw the title and anywhere remotely thought that Harry Potter would. I would never thought about that. So, yeah.
Awards for black people. That's not what you're getting here. They're the Avengers. They are the Avengers of ass-kissing black people. The real reason why we can't get into any of these deeper issues with this movie, which that's what the point of the movie should have been. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not making my movie. Yeah. Y'all the one that came up with the premise.
Right.
And then decide to drop the for some lame ass romantic comedy right here.
The concept doesn't get dropped. It's very present throughout the entire film, all the way into the last scene. once again, don't understand. All right, let's go.
All of a sudden, the movie just says, I don't want to talk about no black issues no more. Which, by the way, when you do that, it leaves the magical Negro society to just be a one-note joke. Because we don't go any further with that.
If I may, once again, I love these guys. I would take a bullet for them. Mystical Magical Negro is one note. There is no more notes to just the concept of it. The movie, I think what made it impressive to me is that it added dimension to a one note. That was my opinion. But let's get into the highs and lows, and I will scream and holler like a petulant child at the end. Eddie, would you mind please starting with your highs and lows, especially since you went into this like this is gonna suck?
All right, so for my highs, the movie at first I thought it was going to be a low because it was making me a little uncomfortable, but then when it all came to the end, I realized it was like the movie did a good job for bringing that discomfort to light. So that's actually a high for me. They did a good job of making both. I think both parties uncomfortable at some point to shed a light on the naivete, or the blindness that people have to the situation. I laughed a few times. I liked the love story between the two characters, and it's probably mainly because I thought the girl was very attractive, so I want to see that love happen. But as far as my lows, for me it seemed like they focused on people, the society focused on people that weren't actually threats. And I understand that the whole concept was when white people fear things they become dangerous, but in my opinion there are so many more dangerous white people out there that they should have been focusing on. And that's where I actually agree with the double toasted, where it was now just about this undeserving guy who's never really going to be a threat because he's clueless, and this romantic comedy, and less about the premise. I felt like they dropped it as well, so I have to agree with that. I felt like there was not enough magic, and I know they covered it with a line that David Allen said, well, if he just wants to be CEO, this is like a 5-10 year client, so less magic, more listening. Okay, so now you're taking me away from what I came to see. They wrote themselves into a corner. There's a lot of opportunities and magic. The way that they got into the club and they helped that bouncer see this guy in a certain light so things could work. He could that kind of magic could have been applied to help his boss give him another chance with that failed face program, whatever, so he can get a chance to redeem himself or get him moving up in the career. But they was only using magic when it's convenient, and they kind of bailed on it. So unfortunately, I do agree with that concept that they is a missed opportunity. There's a lot of magic happening everywhere else, but not with this person. And so it ended up really just being about the love story. But then they did bring it back with the recognition at the end. So that made me appreciate it more, because at first I was wondering, I was like, are they going to lose track? And so even though they did bring it back, my low is that the bulk of the movie kind of abandoned the whole premise, and it just came back at the end to say, hey, this is where we're going with this. And I know you didn't like what he just said, but to make the society end up seem like a joke, it actually kind of seems pointless, because nothing changed. The society started having difference of opinion because of that guy's situation, and they started doing little things at the end. But David Allen Grill's still keeping the mission, but it's still like, now what are we really? Are we still trying to keep people from being uncomfortable, or are we now just trying to make people realize we need to be equal? What are we doing? And they just kind of just left it out there, but we got the love at the end. So
there you go, Dad Panther.
Let's see. I kind of have something prepared here, so I'm gonna try to stay focused. So no, because I just looked at it as like, I needed time to marinate with this, simmer down. Like the first time you look at the movie, just like we look at the trailer or whatnot, it kind of hits you. And so I'll start off with the highs. The highs, I thought it was shot well. I thought it had a really good look. Like you said, it was Focus that put this out. This was a big company that's known to do other movies. And it didn't seem like it was something that would have been, straight to DVD type of thing. The cast was as diverse as you can get as far as looking like us, and the music. Like I remember watching the scenes that they were doing, like the shots looked really like pleasing. It was like the music. I think there was a score as he's crossing the street. I'm like, man, we're really into something. And you open this book, and I wasn't thinking Harry Potter. I was thinking more the idea of having fantasy and role playing and stuff like that. Because again, I believe this lead just came off of doing Dungeons and Dragons, which they're working on the sequel for that one. So I didn't necessarily put it in that realm, but unfortunately, I think I have to agree with Toasted and their crew, which I do enjoy. I swear to you, I was just watching a few episodes on Spotify before jumping on this. But when he says that it's two bad movies, I will up the ante and say there's a third movie in there that I think redeems kind of what's going on. The way I look at it is you have Lizzie, who, if and kind of what you talked about earlier, Jay, where you're like, why can't you go into the movie and support it? That's a layer there. Why can't you support a movie that has the cast you want, that's trying to tell a story, that's not giving you trauma that way, and let's support it, and then critique it afterwards and say, hey, look, this is what we can do versus not wanting to watch it, but you watch 12 Years a Slave and every other things. To have Lizzie, who, if you watch this movie and you come in kind of angry and just with pre-notion, Lizzie, I believe, isn't white. Lizzie is Asian. Lizzie is a minority. You watch what Lizzie goes through. Lizzie goes through not getting a job because she's a woman. That's what I picked up. Lizzie not getting the job because she's a minority. Maybe her boss knows that. We don't know that. There's one or two conversations that happen that make you have the conversation that she could be something more, because she is, when the one who wants to be the love interest, not the main character, but the guy wanting to get the promotion, he says, well, you're one of us. And she was saying that she felt bad, and so it kind of feels like American Fiction, that line that you showed, where it was like, oh, you know, it's an ally, a supporter. But I think what it was also somebody who understands how that feels, and that's why they connected together, because they understood that. So you're watching that, and you're watching somebody who is, you'll joke all the time between like black and high yellow or light skinned brother, like that conflict that's been generational for over and over again. So you're watching this person who doesn't necessarily feel comfortable in their skin. And it was just like, I thought that was interesting that they put in. That's why teaser at the end. I think that the reason why you see her being able to do that, and I won't go too far into it, is because she's her own trope that you see in a movie. And some of the other stuff that I thought fell through, like some blows in it, was, yes, it got away from the magic that it showed. I think David does a great job, and I forgot what the lady's name, Aisha, she does a great job of being this narrator for what the magic is and talking about historic people back in the day. And I wanted more of that. I wanted a montage of showing what they've done in the past, because they did show two things. They went to Driving Miss Daisy. They hinted at Green Mile, which we talked about earlier, but it's just, they kind of went away with it completely. Even dealing with the stuff with the police officer, you could have came back and showed that officer in a situation that might have went viral in today's time, and watch him change his mind, but you know what seed was laid there. Even if it was him, wasn't him as the aggressor, but him stopping another officer, and you're watching that and you're saying, okay, it's the little things that start that cause and effect. And I think it just fell away from it. As far as the romantic comedy, I don't think there's a problem with that. I just think there might be some bitterness of what looks like a bait switch from the title and from what you saw in that trailer that I believe showed everything. At the end of the day, it's not magical Negroes. It's more like Wizards in Paris. It's just, it missed the mark, and it's unfortunate because it had potential to really do something.
Wizards
Bibbidi
in
Bobbidi Boo.
Paris.
You said
Wizards in
Wizards in
Paris.
He said Wizards in Paris.
So maybe if I may, I would like to ask you gentlemen, what do you fit in a few sentences, what do you feel as though the movie was about?
Well, I overall, with the way they close it off at the end, I felt like they were trying to tell us that we should not have to walk on eggshells to make them comfortable. We just need to live our lives, and they need to wake up. I mean, but that's what I wanted the movie to say. I don't honestly know if that was the overall message, but that's what I took from it. It's just like it's not our job to make you comfortable or make you see us as non-threatening.
Dad Panther.
I think I took it as the magical Negroes at first, the regime, or how you want to see what they were until this individual got here, was to survive. They were doing this to survive, to make sure that they're able to progress and blend in. And when you look at this one that's kind of added that notion that we saw, it was more or less, yes, to survive because there's still ongoing issues that are happening for various minorities, but it's also wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, and want to be comfortable. And I felt like that was a part that you're seeing that's in there. As far as what we saw from the trailer or whatever the case is, I felt like that was more, like I said before, more clickbait. Might have turned some people away.
Okay, cool. So now that I have an understanding of what your perspective, I mean, I kind of got an idea from your reviews, what your perspective of what the film was about. And initially, when I went into the theater, that's what those things that you guys just said is what I thought the film was about. And that's the reason why I wasn't confident that the film would be good. When I actually watched the film and I saw the subtle nuances of the conversations of the main character, it became apparent to me, oh shit, this is a movie about the younger generations and even my generation, because I saw a lot. I mirrored a lot of emotions that the main character felt, with feeling uncomfortable and having high anxiety around large groups of white people because of the fact that I'm a large black man. When I walk in most rooms, the first immediate reaction from people that don't know me is, I'm gonna hurt somebody, I'm gonna be violent, I'm a hood dude. Until I start to speak, and then I literally can see people go, I have to be funny, I have to be affable, I have to be personable when I walk into, especially when I'm trying to get something from people, I'm trying to do business, or if I just want to go somewhere and fucking relax. You know what I mean? Most of the time when I walk in the door, the immediate people get tense, like, all right, it's about to be a fight, or I don't know what the fuck this person is going to do. So as much as I should laugh at it should be funny to me to walk into those places, a lot of times I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of uncomfortableness because when I was a kid, that shit used to immediately cause fights. I'm a big dude. Somebody needs to tee off on me because they have something to prove, or they don't want to be, they are scared that I'm going to shit on them, so they feel like they need to attack me. And that used to always happen. When I went to black schools, violence was over the top. Then if I went to a white school, it was literally always white people don't always come off and just want to fight. White people will do some sly shit, like try to get you in trouble or do some wild shit. They'll say some fucked up shit. So you have to kind of befriend a lot of these white motherfuckers just so you can exist in a comfortable space. This film was about a young man that didn't learn what I learned when I was young. He grew up because he was a small dude. That's the thing that I really thought. I'm like, the thing that protected me was the main thing that was causing me so many problems. I was protected because I'm a big dude. Yeah, I could fight, I could do this or whatever. But once I got grown, once I got into high school, niggas really wasn't fucking with me. And when I got out of high school, definitely nobody was fucking with me. So imagine I'm an adult. I can walk into a space. Yeah, and as long as I don't do nothing over the top, niggas is gonna give me my space. They're gonna, and most of the time, people are gonna show me respect out of the gate because I'm a big dude. But imagine if I was 110 pounds and I was light skinned. So they know you brown, but they don't know how brown you are. How much disrespect happens. How niggas will just push you out the way, bump you, talk down to you, mistreat you. So, I mean, and I'm not trying to be racist, but I live in a real world. I go to a lot of places and white people got slick shit out to say out their mouth all the time. You know what I'm saying? So what if you not used to backing niggas down and you get talked slick to all the time? You get disrespected. Those microaggressions add up. And I know a lot of young black kids that don't like going out. They definitely don't like being around white people. They don't like being in a lot of spaces because they don't feel equal. They don't feel like they're like that speech that the young kid gave towards the end, bro. I damn near cried, bro. Like I understand that shit. That not feeling worthy, that not, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so, and I don't want to give the film away, but like the second half of the film opened up what the movie was really about. The fucking American Negro Society thing, that was candy. That was the bombastic thing we needed to bring people in this to the theater to watch this. Because if you just presented this second half story by itself, nobody would have gave a fuck about it. Then it would have been a nice little note, and people would have been like, "This is a short." And I think because the main character guy, the actor that plays the main character, he wrote the script. So like, he wrote a vehicle that could get him to tell a story in a way that would draw attention. What I've observed listening to you gentlemen and listening to the Double Toasted is that you guys chose to focus more on, well, I wanted magic, I wanted this, and I wanted that. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I'm not trying to take that away from y'all. And if that's how you feel, I respect it. But for me, I just accepted the film for what I got. And when I started to see really what was going on, it made me love the film. Like when I started understanding that beyond the love story and the magical Negro part, that you really just have this story about a young kid that is trying to find his own confidence. And it may be funny that he's a grown man and he should already have these things. And yo, why you a little bitch nigga and all that? We could say a bunch of shit about him. If I was to present this little nigga in the hood, they would fucking run that nigga ragged, which is another reason why the little nigga feel the way he feel. And let me stop saying little nigga. But you know, at the end of the day, like that shit touched me in a major way. The ending of the film, yes, there were some, the overcoat of the film was sloppy. I will give that, you know what I mean? But I felt like the core of what I saw and, you know what I mean, what I experienced and where it went to, I loved. And I walked out of the theater going, I felt so connected to that character that it rose the film from above. What I would probably say, if that little core element wasn't that fucking good, I probably would agree with y'all and say this movie is some fucking bullshit. There are a few other elements that I enjoyed, like you were saying, the history of the American Negro Society. I thought that was dope. Some of the stuff that they did as far as like showing the magic, I thought was cool. The salacious throwing in some gay moments, didn't think that was necessary, but hey, we in that time period. And the ending I felt was a little abrupt and could have fared better with maybe 10 or 15 minutes more real. Let's give this a real conclusion versus an abrupt stop. But being that I was in a theater with a lot of white people and seeing their visible discomfort at a lot of the film, I understand why they ended the film at the time point they did, so that they wouldn't just have white people just walking out of the theater. I don't think I've given the best review. I'm just giving you how I felt about it. And I felt really disappointed that nobody has spoken about that young man's feelings and like how, wow, like me and Fame both said the same thing. Like, dog, I've experienced this. Like, this is some real shit. And then me knowing how my younger cousins and my nieces and nephews, like, they literally have told me about how they feel like that. You know what I mean? And the fact that, all right, I have younger cousins that are very educated. We all grew up in the hood, but we all grew up with education. I went to private school. Man, I was in, like, literally, I grew up in one of the worst hoods in Baltimore. Like, they were shooting niggas. Like, there was a nigga that died on my front steps, like in a gunfight. And I'm looking out the front. They shot niggas in front of me and on the playground with fucking Mac 10s. Like, that was my everyday life as a kid. But I went to private school. So I'm speaking proper English, and these hood niggas is like, what the fuck? I got called white boy my entire life, nigga. Like, so you know what I mean? But it was amazing to see this story play out, and then knowing how much connection there is between my generation, the younger generation, and those feelings, you know what I mean, and those elements. So I'm not gonna overtalk it, but yeah. Sorry. But yeah, that's that. Does anything I just said make any sense, or did I just irritate you guys like I just wasted your time?
Well, so I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a little bit of both. I'm gonna say why. I feel like because of your connection to the character, you're not seeing it like you normally would have, because what you said is the magic, which is what they, it's in the title, and what they brought us in on. You said, oh, that was just to get you in, but this is really about this kid's story. But when we watched the movie The Shift and all of that sci-fi just to get us in, and then all of a sudden they give us this religious movie, that bothered you like crazy. So of course we come in, yeah, we are looking for what they told us this movie was going to be about. But I feel like your connection to the guy, to the character, made you disregard all that.
Right. So okay, so the kid inside of me that feels raped and abused by white people love this film, but the nigga inside of me would definitely agree this is some bullshit. So like, all right, I would do that. All right, yeah, there we go. I'm with it. Fuck this movie, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. You feel better, Dad Panther? I'm back on board, baby.
Wait.
Okay, I think we need to rate it, because I don't think the Dad Panther hated it.
Yeah, I think for some reason, I don't know if it's the word count that I do. We've done this on a few movies. I think One Love. I can't. But you hear it and you're like, yeah, he disliked it. Let's talk more about it. I mentioned that I found a third movie in here. I mentioned it seemed like the influence of Get Out, wanting to tell a linear story that's in it. There's a hidden Trojan of information, like I said, that went with Lizzie, and that ending of she's a trope. And I even said, you know, when you asked me later on, you're like, hey, what do you take from this? And I was like, the old school, we need to be nice and we need to do this for survival, civil rights, and everything in the past. And then the new one where it's like, I want to feel comfortable in my skin. I want to breathe the same air. I belong here. And so those are pieces that I felt in the movie. I didn't take away. And I felt like that was a very strong piece that to me made the missteps of what they were selling us on, the clickbait, which might not be that young man's story from what he wrote, or even the idea of the director. I don't think the director is black. I don't know who the director is at all. It could be for someone else. I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but it didn't feel like somebody who understood what you guys are saying, that struggle, that ability, whether you're white or black or female or Asian. But they made sure to say that. I think another part where you said, well, he just never kind of lived that life the way that, like you said, for your example, to be able to play both sides of the coin based off the audience. But I believe he did, and they did a good job of showing that for the very beginning, where he was like, please excuse me, I'm sorry. And then if you're someone of color, if you're someone who's a minority, even if you're someone gay, like, you see what that is without them telling you. But just in case you didn't, and the crocodile tears scale they had, just in case you didn't, David Allen Greer tells them by saying, don't you wonder why you hold the door open? Don't you? And he goes through what the tropes are, regardless if you're light skin or dark skin, you're a woman. Like, and so I feel like I said, I enjoyed that. I wish their execution would have been better. I wish the conversation would have been, this is a love romantic movie. It just so happens this is what he does for a living. This is the job he does. But that, that's the magic trick. Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Thank you. Hold on. Did you say black? The director's black?
No, oh yeah, the director.
I don't know.
I'm looking at him. I don't know if he's black, but he may be.
He light skinned.
That's what it's.
Oh, is he really? Oh,
it looks like.
When I saw the name, I thought. I mean, I hate to be that guy. I thought it was something ethnic. I guess when I saw the name, I was like, oh, cool. But there's just the feel of it. Was unseasoned.
I like that.
When you watch somebody dance You watch
Yeah.
somebody dance, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
bless their heart.
Right. They
Just
trying,
it's
but it ain't got that
unseasoned.
salt. It ain't got no
There's no
salt.
soul in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I appreciate the conversation, bro. You guys have really given me a perspective that I guess I got so caught up in like, damn, nigga, like y'all motherfuckers missed it out. Like Eddie said, you know what I mean? I identified so much with the main character that I did ignore a lot of the other elements. And like, you know, thank you for bringing that to my attention, Eddie. And like, I can admit when I'm wrong. It's even though niggas swear I don't. So I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? It has a lot of major flaws. I will say that. But I might be honest with you guys and say that I really walked out of the theater with a smile on my face. I really enjoyed the film personally. It's definitely on my list of buys, you know what I mean, when it comes out. And you know what, something, I really walked out of the theater and I was like, bro, I hope that people watch this film. I really did. I was like, man, I hope people go to the theater and watch this. Even if it's nothing more than just the discourse that we're having now, it's worth it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was sloppy, but it was like we tried something different. I've seen a lot more white people do some wacky ass shit and it become some legendary, like it may not have been like a box office like smash, but it'll become one of those legendary underground films. And I feel like, yo, they should really push this, get the budget back, and then make the follow-up. And then like I would say, don't follow this main character again. Start with somebody completely different. You know what I'm saying? And then he be like a legend in the background, or he's the thing that they're trying to fix. Like, all right, he was the glitch in the matrix. But like, yo, we're gonna train this new person and they have a completely different experience. You know what I mean? And they're doing their thing.
I was thinking the second one would follow Lizzie. You bring some of the same people back. Lizzie is magical. You're seeing those tropes as a woman or an Asian. You're seeing that. He doesn't know that she is a magical, whatever that trope would be. And he's trying to live his regular life. And I think that'll be interesting to see if he finds out, if he can figure it out, the two sides of it. But to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, I did want people to watch this movie. I feel like the execution was just so far off that I had to sit back and look and pull from this to say this is something good, because there's other stuff that does the conversation to both sides of the aisle and executes it, I think, beautifully. Dear White People on Netflix, especially that first season, it does a good job of staying authentic, being seasoned, but allowing you to educate the other side and to give that experience. Or shows like Blackish, where you're in that trope, you're in what that is, and you're seeing the son who's light skinned, and he's going through those throughout the season. Obviously, those are multiple seasons, and you have a time to build those characters. I just felt like with a cast that was this well put together, it was just Wizards in Paris.
Wizards in Paris. Hold on,
Y'all wizards, y'all. We
Well,
wizards, y'all.
if they changed the name to Wizards in Paris, would you like the film more?
It would the same thing. It would have been clickbait, because you would have jumped in like what's the Jesus movie they did that kind of had an upbeat kind of feel. You would expect it.
What is it, the Claremont Lounge or something like
Yes.
that?
Clarence, the Book of Clarence or something like that.
Book of Clarence.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so that vibe with the music and the feel, you would have dun 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 dun. You would have been like, yeah. You would have been sitting there. The theater would have been popcorn, people laughing. Like that would have been a different movie. But again, it's the clickbait of the title and how you presented the trailer. I didn't see the trailer, but I'm hearing that if you saw the trailer, you saw the movie.
Got you. Okay. Salute. All right, Mr. Lingo.
Just want to show you, gentlemen, that is our.
Oh, that's the director.
The writer and director.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know he's the lead actor in the film, right?
That's not him.
That is definitely him.
That's not him.
No,
the dude, you're talking about the dude from the Glow TV from Dungeons and Dragons, John Smith, I think is his name.
Yeah, I can pull up the
guy. Bring another guy.
Yeah.
Bring another guy. Yo, they look just.
No, that's somebody else you're talking about. Oh, damn. He said they look just alike. You see what he just did?
All black people look alike. That's the lead actor.
No, that's
not him.
It's not. No, that's the director, my friend.
All right,
I think he was the one that wrote it.
All
right, so
it's not him. No, that's not him.
All right, that's him again.
We're going back to the movie.
No, that's see that guy.
Okay, and
the
the
right
lead
there,
actor
John.
is,
Justin
is
Smith.
Justin Smith.
Justin Smith. And
Hold
he's
on.
been in some good things. He's got some other projects that's lined up. I really like watching him.
Look at this guy.
Jurassic
They-
World.
You trying to tell me they don't
No.
look alike? You saying they don't look alike?
No, now you're
You know
they
what
may
hell?
look, they may
that light
favor. They are
skin.
not the same.
He's like that.
So
All
when
light
he says
skin
that, you're
niggas
like,
looking like.
you didn't hear the speech that he was doing on the stage. He's pouring his heart out.
I didn't do that.
Oh,
I
these
didn't.
niggas look alike.
Hey, Deb, I ain't make fun of your fucking review. Don't make fun of mine. God damn it.
No. Listen, I'm not making fun of it. I'm alluding to the misstep of this movie's execution.
And I know I get that part. But these two light skinned niggas look alike, bro.
They do favor. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking through all their pictures.
Come on, yo.
Okay, then show another picture because that first
I'm
picture
gonna do it side by side. I'm gonna do
that
it side by
first picture
side.
he was shining. The director was shining.
Oh
So
my
I didn't
God.
see it.
What if
So
he had a shiny forehead so he can't look like the other light skinned nigga that didn't have a shiny forehead? Is that what we doing?
I don't know.
No, hold on. I got you. Wait, we'll go ahead and put up Iris's review while we
All right, let's throw this up here on the screen and then we'll actually get the review on it. Yeah, because her shit takes forever. All right, highs. Movie made good points on how it feels to be unheard and how it is not our job as people of color to make you, in parentheses, white people feel better. Clear picture on what it is like to be a person of color in today's society. We're free, but we're not free. Lows. That fucking orange knitted sweater, I wanted to burn it. Wow. Horrible costume choice for the film. Also, not sure if this would be a spoiler, but the fact that she took being left somewhere so well and freaking flew that quick. The timeline just went by way too fast. I would have been livid. Yes, Iris.
they didn't stick the landing.
Huge fucking spoiler, my dear. So like yeah, let's not
That's
do
your
that.
superpower.
That
That's
is-
your superpower.
That is definitely her spoilery shit is definitely her superpower. Hey everybody, look at the Ghostbusters cup.
I know I'm taking for fucking over.
So anyway,
What if that was her power or just anybody's power in general? Like when you're at work and you're like, man, I'm not gonna mess up this season finale of Breaking Bad. I ain't gonna do it. And person shows up and say, hey, you know Jack dances backwards. And they just leave. And you're like, well, y'all heard that? And it just messes up the movie. You're like, where it came from.
facts.
Magical.
Yeah, that's definitely magic. All right.
right.
So while he's looking up these pictures, Dad Panthers, it's a classic, a good watch, a catch on stream, and I'm not doing it for me. Is it a or if you ever show me this ever again, I will you go ahead, sir. Dad Panther, what are you
I
saying?
don't know why, but when you showed me this rating again, it changed what I was thinking about.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to come back to me. That's not good. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's not good at all. All right, Eddie Lingo, you gotta give us the review so that he can piggyback. Is it a classic?
No,
good
okay, fine. No. I'm gonna jump in there. No, so there's no that way. I'm gonna go for what this movie showed me that it was. I think we can all agree. What we're gonna say, if this can fit in a section, we're at Blockbuster or Hollywood Videos, this would be in the romantic comedy section, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then based off of that, it's oh hell no. I don't see this movie being Netflix and chill. I don't see this movie bringing me closer together with someone. I could see you sitting next to somebody and you may be upset at what you're watching. You may have somebody who might be white or vice versa. And the conversation at the end, and you're not sitting there saying you want to go share some breadsticks? You want to go to Popeyes? So for what the movie was, I can't, and let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know another romantic comedy.
It's your rating.
That
I'm
misstepped.
So when
this
you
bad.
Netflix and chill and you get hot and bothered, you say, hey babe, let's go get some breadsticks. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, listen, sometimes you need some carbs to put in there. Sometimes you need some carbs. Gotta load up.
Then that's not Netflix and chill, sir. That's just Netflix.
No,
like
that's after. I said that's after. If it turns into it, it might be after.
Okay, you didn't say the after part. You was just saying that you're gonna watch the movie and then afterwards, if you don't get the feeling like y'all want to go out for breadsticks, that's not really the game.
I was just saying the vibe of the movie doesn't say lean in close. And like there's moments where you're like, oh, look at them, they're cute. Then there's moments like, okay.
Well,
We'll talk about what this means after.
If we really talk about the historical context of a great Netflix and chill film, this technically would be a classic because by 30 minutes in, you going fuck this. Let me eat your pussy. Like, come on, put your legs up. You know what I mean? Like you just gonna be like, man, it's just playing in the background. You ain't paying no attention to this. You going to work. It's going crazy.
No, you may say something wrong, and somebody might have to get out the house, walk home. You might have to block somebody's number. It could be one of those.
Wow, you've got a rough. Man, you got a rough lifestyle out here, buddy. All right, Eddie. He said, you like me when I was in my 20s and shit. He said he's saying shit to get thrown out the house. God.
Yeah. You want my review? You want Iris's review? She did say it.
Yeah, give me Iris's review first.
Iris's rating is it's a good watch. I think that's the one right below classic, right? That's what
the way he said that. The way he said that, like, hey, we just saw Green Mile, and she put it one right underneath it.
So Iris gave it a good watch.
All right, Eddie, what's yours?
All right, let me get the chart again.
Yes, sir.
All right. So for me, I'm actually gonna give it a catch on streaming. Even though I do felt like there was a lot that was missing and they wrote themselves into a corner. There was some stuff that they dropped the ball on. You know, at the end of it, I still walked out feeling pretty good because I was worried we weren't gonna get the message that we got at the end or that moment. I was really worried that they was gonna try and just let this be the way it is and we just have to accept it. And you know, he was just gonna be like, well, I'd just rather be in love, but the fact that we got the end I still say it's a good watch, and I'm gonna tell everybody still go watch it.
I'm at the co-sign with the big homie. I walked out of the theater enjoying it. Like I said, this is definitely gonna be something I purchased. This is definitely a catch on streaming for me. For everything he just said. Like honestly.